You're on there. You're on the camera. Ow. Anyways, hello. Good morning, everyone. Or good afternoon. You guys remember me? I used to stream at a certain point. I used to stream all the time. You guys remember me? I'm in like this funk where I'm like, holy shit, I've been so busy. And now I have so much footage to edit. And it's like, what the fuck? I have so much to do. But I don't want to do any of it. I want to stream. Anyways, guys, where have I been? I've been around. We were in Michigan for 2 weeks, right? Where we did the cooking stream, as well as a couple league streams in Ravens PC. But then we did a couple streams when I got back, like what, 2 days? There's 2 days of streams on this setup. And then after that, we went camping with my father. So that started with us we went up first to San Jose, a place called the Winchester Mystery House. If you guys don't know the story, the Winchester Mystery House was owned by the people who made the Winchester guns. The guy, like the owner's wife, the guy who patented all the designs, his wife, lived in the house for like years and years after he died, and she was told by what, a medium? By some kind of medium that like the souls of anyone who was ever taken by fucking the Winchester guns, that those souls would haunt her. And so she just kept making and building more and more rooms for the souls to inhabit, or like to hide from them. Or maybe I think it was because she had what's called a seance room. It was like this room where she would just put on candles. I think they gave her like these blueprints for the house, and it was like doors to nowhere, stairs to nothing, just a bunch of rooms everywhere. And it ended up being like 100 and something rooms in the house, and it's still 110, 120 rooms. And we went on the tour, and the guy who was our tour guide was so weird. He had like he gave this riffraff vibe. I don't know if you guys know who riffraff is from Rocky Horror Picture Show. This guy. He was kind of like the groundskeeper of the whole mansion. But our tour guide reminded me of this guy so much because of the way he acted. Like he only had this stare on him. He only spoke in a monotone voice. When he was trying to like socialize with the group on the tour, he said it. He asked like the weirdest questions, because he wouldn't like be like, "Oh, are you guys brothers? You know, like you guys look similar. Are you guys brothers?" He'd walk up and he'd be completely serious. He'd be like, "You're brothers, aren't you? You're brothers." And it's like a complete like assumptive type of question. Maybe it's on purpose. I hope so. I mean, if I was a tour guide, it'd be like I'd want to do that too. I feel like it'd be like a fun thing to just change characters every tour, and see which kind of character makes causes the weirdest reactions. But anyways, it's funny. It made it honestly more entertaining because the way he would explain things is like so monotone. Another thing that was weird about the Winchester Mystery House, all the bathrooms had windows on the doors. So like every single bathroom door was completely open window. And the guy, I'm like, and so I asked the question, I'm like, are those the original doors or did they changed? And he's like, no, they're the original doors. Preferably you'd put curtains over the windows. I'm like, okay. You never use the bathroom there? No, I mean, I completely agree that. Just because no privacy. But I mean, if there's a curtain there, then there's not as bad, because it's a curtain covering it. But after we got done with the Winchester Mystery House, we headed down again. After we went down to San Luis Obispo, because we were just taking the PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway, down. So we ended up in San Luis Obispo because we went to go look at one of the missions. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's like a bunch of missions that were built all along the coast by Spaniards when it was still Mexico. Like when California was still Mexico. And there was a shit ton of these missions that were built all along the coast to kind of like, spread the word of Christianity, I guess. But I mean, it was cool because it was cool to like see this old building, and it had a bunch of cool like museum shit in it, like native weapons and all, a bunch of different like old stuff. And then after San Luis Obispo, we kept going down the coast. The first night we slept. So the first 2 nights we slept in our car. And my dad had his RV, but me and Izzy just slept in the car. We just parked in random Walmarts or parking lots that we know we could stay the night in. The first night we stayed in this rest area. Like, we would park the car in front of the RV and then kind of take up one of the whole semi-truck spots in those rest areas. And it was funny because my dad was like, oh yeah, we're going to park here. We're going to park here for the night. I'm like, I know this rest area. I've blown up that bathroom on my way home before. Just completely destroyed it. It'd be fun to go back. But we spent the night there, and we got like these reflectors. So like we put one on the windshield, put one on the back windshield, and then we like just had our like reflective material that we cut to the shape of the windows that we stuck in, and then like that way we had no sunlight getting in, and all the sunlight would kind of bounce out. But it still got kind of hot. It was definitely a little stuffy, just because I mean there's basically no airflow because everything was enclosed in. So it was nice to get up in the morning and like get some fresh air right when you get up after being all like in a stuffy car all night. And then on the second day we went down again and we stayed in a Walmart parking lot in a place called Lompoc. And we went to Solvang, California. Solvang's like this little Dutch town, very incredibly Dutch. You know, like the you know those houses that are like, well, let me see if I can pull one up. But it's very Dutch, you know, like those old windmills and stuff, and then all this kind of architecture. It was cool just to walk around. They had a bunch of little cool shops that we could walk by. But we didn't stay too long. We got breakfast there at a place called Brecky's. Shout out Brecky's. It was all right. Food came fast. All right service. After that, the third day, we got to the first actual campsite, which was in Carpinteria. If you guys don't know where Carpinteria is, we stayed out right on the state beach, and we stayed literally directly on the ocean. This is the watchtower that we stayed at. We stayed basically in this spot right here, and it was like directly next to the ocean. And so my parents, my dad, my stepmom, they got the RV, and then me and Izzy slept in a tent. It was our first time tent camping, but it was literally this close to the ocean. So in the morning we would get up, and I don't know what it is about tents, but I always instinctively just wake up at 7 in the morning out of your tent and immediately see the ocean. It's very calming, especially at night when you're trying to sleep and you just hear like the sounds of ocean waves like going back and forth.
Nice. The best part, waking up, sunrise, beach, waves. Cracking open the cold one and taking a huge fucking puff.
What?
Waking up, bothering Mom and Romar.
Yeah, pretty much. Like knocking on the RV. No, we didn't do that. We basically just waited for Janet to come out first, and then we started our day. But before that, it would just be like we sat on the beach, like or like take a walk along the coast, and it's fucking freezing in the morning. I wanted to do a polar plunge, but I don't know why I didn't do it. But like literally every morning, I'm like, should I put my trunks on and just go jump in? I think that'd be cool, but I never did it.
How'd you get dry afterwards?
I have a towel. Especially like that early in the morning, there's no sun to like warm myself up when I get out.
You're feeling the wind that was like
yeah,
in Japan
the wind
a month ago.
Literally, the cold wind would like hit me when I get out of the water. But I mean, I did go in the ocean. But then there's some trails, so we went hiking. But it was also like a 5-minute walk to like the downtown Carpinteria part, and so they had an avocado festival going, where we met up with my aunt and my uncle. And we walked around there, got some food, you know, overpriced food, like $15 for a hot dog type.
Yeah, overpriced food. Was it at least kind of okay?
I mean, it was all right. It was all right. So I got something called the Kill Bill hot dog. And it was, what was it? It had like barbecue sauce, cheese, like nacho cheese sauce, jalapenos, grilled onions. It was loaded. It was a loaded fucking hot dog. One thing I learned about avocados is that they make me incredibly gassy, and they make my farts smell absolutely disgusting.
That's amazing.
Like
how do I tell
like Deathbringer type fart. It's terrible. Moving on. But so one thing that's different out here versus like campsites in Michigan is in Michigan you kind of just have to tap on, like, you have a button to press on the shower,
Peter,
and when you
just
press
like
the
that.
button the water will
Yeah,
come
mine
out,
too.
right? But at this campsite I had to spend money to get shower tokens.
Wow.
I know, right? And they
don't think
lasted
I'm
for
not
like
seeing 'em
3 minutes
too.
at a time. And so just for me to take a shower, it would take like forever. Because it would be like 2 minutes per token. It was $5 for 10 tokens.
Wow. Okay.
I'm like, okay, so no long showers. And so that was all during Carpinteria, the Avocado
Join the
Festival,
server.
the hikes. We spent 3 days there. After the third night,
Look
on
my
the
name up.
basically essentially on the third day, we checked out, got out before noon, and then we drove into LA for.
Password.
We got
Capital B,
donuts.
booty.
We got donuts at Blinky's. I don't know if any of you know what Blinky's is, but to me it's the best donuts in the valley. Blinky's on
Double
Topanga
humans.
in Woodland Hills. But after that,
I'll be
we had our Halloween Horror Nights night, where we can check in at 2 p.m. Right, so we got there around 1:30, and then we got to City Walk, walked through City Walk for a bit. You know, went through the shops. City Walk's like a mall to me, just a mall with expensive parking, because that's the shit you don't need a ticket for, and it's cool. So we just walk around in City Walk. But it's like $30 for parking. But it's like $10 after 5 p.m. I think, on days it's not Halloween Horror Nights. At 2 p.m. we went into actual Universal Studios, and the first thing we went to the lower lot because Nintendo Land will close, and then we're like, okay, let's try to ride something, but the wait was already like 50 minutes for fucking the Bowser's, like the Mario Kart ride, and we're like, okay, maybe we'll get something to eat, and they have Toad's Cafe, so we're like, okay, let's get ourselves on the wait list for Toad's Cafe. The first available opening isn't until 3:30 because of how long the wait list is. So we're like, fuck it, okay. At this point, it's like 2:15, 2:30. So we're like, okay, let's go ride a ride. We can't go on Bowser's because the wait would be too long. We go to Transformers because that's right outside of Nintendo Land, and it has a short enough wait time. So we get on Transformers ride. Has anyone ever been on the Transformers ride in Universal Studios? After Transformers, we went back in, checked into Toad's Cafe. Not worth the wait. So it started with us after the wait list. We check in and we're like, okay, we're here for the 3:30 time slot. We get in and there's more lines to wait in to even order the food. And we get up there and I mean, you guys know my father. He's like, give me one of everything. They take us to another place where we have to wait to get seated. And then they seat us. I mean, the ambiance is cool because it's like Toad's Cafe, you know. I'm in a Toad town. I'm surrounded by mushroom boys. But we sit down and then we proceed to wait like an hour, just being on our phones and talking before any sign of food coming out happens. And so then after the hour wait comes in, we get our food. Izzy got just spaghetti with some spaghetti with marinara sauce. I got something called the Mario Burger, which had like bacon and mushrooms and shit. And then I think Janet got some garlic knots and a cupcake. And my dad got prime rib. Or no, it wasn't prime rib. What was it? Short rib. It was like Toad's short rib special. So the short rib was $25. The Mario Burger was $15. And it's just a burger and fries. I don't remember how much Izzy's was. I think it was like $12. And then the two desserts were like $15 each. We got some drinks too, like specialty drinks. Like it was like a honey lemonade thing. Overall, I think the best part of the whole meal was my fries. Like genuinely, and I think Izzy agrees too. But I mean, it was cool because it was like, oh, I'm in a Mario world, you know, the ambiance. And they had like special stuff that happened throughout. Like all the windows in the place were TVs, and they were playing like as if the town was going through a storm or some shit, and you see like little toad houses, little mushroom houses. But overall, the food wasn't that great. So we leave that, and by then, it's like 4. So we decided to go to Hogwarts or to Hogsmeade because I'm like, okay, let's just ride the Harry Potter ride, and then the haunted houses should be open. So we ride the Hogwarts ride, which is just like you get transported, you're flying, and then you follow Harry and Ron on like broomsticks, and they just take you for a ride around Hogwarts and shit. You fight Dementors. It's cool. It's cool. It's a cool ride. The line to me is really cool too because they have like you go through Hogwarts basically, and so it's all this like Hogwarts stuff that's on the shelves and shit. And the ride's cool. No, I like the Hogwarts one. It's cool because like a lot of it's TV screens, but and a lot of motion stuff, just to show you like you're flying around Hogwarts and you're really just looking at a screen. But there's some really cool parts, like the Dementors are animatronics, and there's a Whomping Willow that's an animatronic.
It's Aragog.
Aragog, yeah. You see Aragog and shit, and he's like all animatronic. But like it's cool to actually see it, like IRL, because it's not like in that part's not like an actual just TV screen. You're actually like flying through it, especially the Whomping Willow, because the Whomping Willow, like literally like gets like this close to the freaking ride, like to where you're in. Like if I reach my hand out, I could probably touch the tree, but it's cool. It's cool. And then after we got off the Hogwarts ride, the haunted houses started opening. That was what we were mainly for. In total, we hit 6 of the 8, but the other 2 really didn't interest us too much. But the first ones we went to were actually right behind Hogwarts, so it's super easy to get to. Like it was like it's here, why not just quick do it? And it was not quick because all those lines are crazy. But the first one, the 2 that were behind Hogwarts, is the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire haunted house and the Insidious haunted house. And so we go to the Ghostbusters one first, and that one was cool. But I feel like a lot of those haunted houses aren't really like when it comes to Ghostbusters isn't a horror movie, you know? It's like an action movie. And a lot of these haunted houses are kind of just recapping what the movie is, with some actors jump scaring. Yeah, it was a Ghostbusters Frozen. It was based on the Frozen Empire movie. If any of you haven't seen that, I recommend it just because I think Ghostbusters is cool. It's a decent storyline, especially with the recent ones. The next one was Insidious, and that one had a crazy fucking long line. It was like a 45-minute wait just to get in. And as we get into that one, and it just smells like fake artificial vomit smell the whole way through. And we found the room where it all stemmed from. There's a room inside of it where it's just like a guy throwing up in a toilet, and it's emitting this smell, and it just makes the whole place smell disgusting. Yeah, ew, exactly. After the Ghostbusters and Insidious ones, we meet up with my aunt and my uncle and my cousin, as well as my other uncle, my dad's brother, and my grandma. And so we start walking around there, and we try to keep it to my grandma's space, just because we don't want to like stress her out. But we went on the Terror Tram. So it was all based around Blumhouse movies, like Black Phone, Megan, Happy Death Day. And you get off of the tram and go to the like the sets, and it's like the actual sets they used. Like they have the Jupiter's Claim from Nope, and they have the War of the Worlds set, where it was all like broken. It was like a whole town that got hit by a plane crash. Jupiter's Claim. They had the Psycho Motel, the Bates Motel, I mean, as well as the Psycho Mansion that like sits right above it, and then Brownstone, like Brownstone Street, which is where they film most things. You'll probably recognize this clock tower from like Back to the Future, and all of Back to the Future was filmed on that set. But they just take you around in these, and usually they'll just take you around in these trams, just touring the whole thing, and then they'll explain, oh, these are some cool stuff on each of these sets. But and usually you don't get off the tram, you just kind of look around. But what's cool about the Terror Tram is they make you get off and you walk through all the sets, and there's a bunch of scare actors trying to scare you. But they loved my grandma. They like targeted her. It was crazy. Every single one would like try to jump her, as well as my stepmom had a camera. So and they loved like being on camera, you know. I mean, they're actors. But after that, they got us back on the tram and they drove us back. And another cool thing is when you're walking past, because they have Springfield there from The Simpsons. When you're walking through Springfield from The Simpsons, they have a new Fast and Furious ride going up there, like right next to it. And it's huge. It's gonna be like an actual roller coaster. So it looks like the Fast and Furious ride is gonna go around those escalators, down towards the lower lots, and then up back again. And it's crazy, but the ride isn't gonna be rideable, I think, till 2026. Fortunately, no earthquakes hit this time. It seems like every other time I go to Universal, an earthquake happens there. For some reason, they had The Weeknd. Like, The Weeknd made a haunted house. It's like that clip of Kanye where he's talking about Lady Gaga. Like, I like some of The Weeknd songs. The fuck does he know about haunted houses? Yeah, so we went there, and it had a bunch of songs playing from him, and then it was kind of based off his music videos, I guess. So, like, his music videos are a bit creepier than most. But overall, I think that one was the coolest, because it had, like, the coolest rooms to me. It was like I was walking through a music video. It wasn't it wasn't that scary, but it was cool. Actually, before that, we didn't originally want to go to the next haunted house. We wanted to go on the Mummy, but apparently when we went to go on the Mummy, it caught fire. So they had to call the fire. Like, a fire truck was there to help with the fire. I mean, to be fair, on that ride, there's literally fire that comes out. But we didn't go on the Mummy because of that. So we went to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one. It was a decent haunted house, but if you don't like gore, and blood and that kind of thing, don't go. But it had, like, you walk through, like, Leatherface's butcher room, so you're, like, walking past people's skin. Like they have it hanging, like an actual butcher, like fucking what's it called, like a freezer. How you like hold pigs and shit, or cows. Like, it's just people's skin hanging to dry it out or some shit. It smelled actually terrible. Like, that one was worse than the vomit smell. Up in the upper lot, there was a quiet place, so we went on the quiet place as well. That one was really good. I like that one. But a quiet place was cool because I didn't have to fake scream every time I got scared. Like, every time someone jumped at me. Because it was like the whole thing is you're supposed to be quiet. But it was just kind of another one of those things where it's like you're just reliving the movie. But you're there. But other than that, yeah, I did try to, like, fake scream towards anyone who tried to scare. Like, who'd jump out. We were upstairs and we didn't go to the Purge. Because whenever it's Halloween Horror Nights, they change Waterworld. Which is like this water show you can go and watch. They turn it into the Purge. Like Waterworld type thing. But when they're not doing the show, they have a bunch of scare actors that are dressed like Purge people roaming around the upper lot. And I was having a conversation with my no, it wasn't my grandma. I think it was my uncle. And one of them was just standing right behind me. And I didn't even know until Izzy, like, was staring at her. Like moving back and forth with her head, like. I'm like, what? Is there someone behind me? And I slowly turn. And she's, like, right here. And I just let loose. I'm like, I think it was funny.
Mic cut out on my when you did that.
But it was funny because she was so close. It was entertaining. Fucking, when we were in line for the weekend, we saw Fousey Tube.
It's a YouTuber, right?
Yeah, he's like old school YouTube. But he walked past us multiple times. I opened up the stream and he was being way too extra with the scarers. Like, someone would come out and scare and he'd, like, drop to the floor screaming. Me, my grandma, and my Uncle Raymond got Panda Express, and I completely remember now why I don't get Panda Express anymore.
I know, right? It's like, by the time you're eating more Panda Express, you've forgotten. That's why you're eating it.
I'm just like, wow, this really just is not worth it. But overall, I think it was worth it. I got a ton of footage of... Well, Janet got a ton of footage of people being scared, or scare actors jumping at her, that type of thing. And then we were going to stay at a hotel, because there's going to be like, oh, your grandmother got a... My dad was like, your grandmother got a hotel room. You should be able to stay with her if you guys don't want to sleep in the car tonight. I'm like, okay. So we go to this hotel, and Raymond booked it.
Oh, man.
And so it was like just 2 queen beds. And so grandma got 1 queen bed, and Raymond wanted the other. I'm like... And it was super tiny. There's no other place really to sleep on the floor. Let alone us not wanting to sleep on the floor anyway. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I'm gonna call my good friend URL Peaches. Shout out Jess. 3 a.m. at this point, and I call them, and they're dead asleep, but they still wake up and they're like, "Hello?" I'm like, "Fuck, dude, I just woke them up. Fuck." I'm like, "Hey, best buddy, my goat, my actual fucking lifesaver." is there a possible chance we could stay at the apartment tonight? And they're like, are you here right now? I'm like, no, I can be there in like 15 minutes. They're like, yeah, sure. And so we go over there. We get to spend a lovely night sleeping from, I think, 4 a.m. to like 8 a.m. We literally slept on our old mattress. But yeah, W Jess, shout out my goat. Moving on. After that, it was time for us to go to Idlewild. So we woke up, and then I'm like, Dad, we're gonna be late because we're tired of shit. Because he wanted us to meet at Donut Man, which is a place in Glendora, which is the other donut place I was talking about. But he wanted to meet at like 9:30 in the morning. Sorry, not sorry. I'm not making that deadline. Because it was like a 40-minute drive anyway just to get to the donut place. And so we decided to get up. I think we left like 9:30. And they're like, we're at a Walmart. If you want to pull up to the Walmart, there's an IHOP nearby. We can just get breakfast there. So we get up, we drive to where they're at. Very nice IHOP. Very good filling breakfast. I'm like, this is it. It feels good. It feels good to actually have a full stomach. And then we go to the Donut Man, which if you don't know what the Donut Man is, look at these things. These are their strawberry donuts. These things are crazy huge and crazy hard to eat. So we got like a pumpkin spice one. Our donut box basically looked like this. But we got one. I think Izzy got like a peanut butter and jelly one. I got a Boston cream pie, Bavarian cream type thing. Idlewild was the next stop on our trip. It was also the last stop on our trip. We're staying for 3 days. And Idlewild is so beautiful, man. It's in the mountains. You have all these trees with mountains just surrounding you. And it's a nice little village. 6,000 feet in the air. The air was really dry, and the air was just very crisp. And it got really cold at night, but luckily, I mean, we still had blankets and shit, so it wasn't too uncomfortable. We basically just stayed here, for like 3 days, enjoying their nice little town in the mountains. It felt like where they film fucking, what are they called? Hallmark movies. Like, this is like the small town that they would film that type of shit at. It was only freezing at night, because during the day, the sun would come out, and it could honestly get really hot. Like, I went swimming in the pool that was at the campsite, because, I mean, the water felt so nice. It was a little bit cold, but I mean, I think it was 80. But it's also one of those places in California where it does snow when it's in the winter. So we went to like a bunch of these little shops. It was just like Solvang. It was like had all these little shops. And we went to this candy shop that made their own chocolates, which was very cool. Because I like chocolate. But like this gift shop, I literally went there. But their mayor,
That's awesome.
their mayor was a dog. Mayor Max. But right now they're on the third, not Mayor Max the second. This one was Mayor Max the third. But anyways, he was a cool dog. He was very soft. We said hello. Other than that, after that, we went to, I think you guys saw in the Discord, the burger that I had for dinner. Where me and my father got these. These were 1 pound patties on burgers. Things were absolutely massive. It's called Bigfoot. Like the Bigfoot. It's fully loaded. It's about as fully loaded a burger can get, plus a 1 pound patty. And I finished it in about 30 seconds. But that was the dinner number 1. And then the next day, we went back down again for dinner. After just chilling. We were basically just doing like a nothing day. The parents did some laundry, but we kind of just lounged. And after that, we went back down to an Italian place where I got a very good pizza. It's funny because it was $21 for a 12-inch pizza. And only $4 more for a 16-inch pizza. I'm like, well, if I can just take it back, I might as well just spend the $4 extra of my father's money. So after the pizza, that was basically our last night. We went to bed with full bellies and a nice breeze on my nuts. And so we proceed into the next day, in which we wake up not at 7 a.m. this time. We actually got to sleep in to 8:30. It was super easy because the tent is so easy to take down. We just packed up everything, and then we proceeded on our 8-hour journey back up here. And that was yesterday.